Hi guys, it's Shauna. As I'm working with people and just through my own work on myself, with myself, feeling the sensations in the body when we're stressed and in fear or we get rejected or, fear of abandonment comes up, all of these things that we're all, most of the time, shoving down, doing everything we can to avoid all of these feelings that come up, or what happens, what shows up in meditation, right? So stillness, silence is the best way to deal with all of this stuff, and it's the one thing everybody's avoiding. So I thought I would come in here and just share a couple of tips on how to lean into your emotions, because they're really not what you think they are. So for instance, if something happens in your daily life where it triggers something for you, it triggers a fear, or it triggers, like, when you have a conflict, or somebody says something that surprises you and makes you feel rejected, or whatever it might be that gives you just this visceral response in your body, that is a trigger, an emotional trigger, and it means there's something in you, not what they did. They're just a signpost, right? They're just leading you back to something that's showing itself in you, that wants to be seen. What happens is we make the mistake of thinking that it's from outside of us, and we blame because it's so much easier, and we don't want to feel that because it feels awful. So we shove it down and we get onto our phones, or we watch Netflix, or we drink wine, or we do whatever we can to avoid those feelings. But going into them, leaning into them, and figuring out, no, wrong word, seeing, allowing the revelation of what is there to show you is actually the way to heal it. It actually can be transcended and healed, all of it, all of it, all of it. And leaning into it and looking at it and being present for it is the only way to do that. So sitting still and meditating is the best way that I have found, and many of my colleagues have found, and my business partner, Kusha, have found, to actually deal with the stuff that comes up in daily life. Running from it, working harder, again, more Netflix, more wine will never, ever, ever resolve this. You cannot resolve unresolved pain in the same consciousness that created it. You have to get wider. You have to get more present. You have to create a loving space in yourself, or allow a loving space in yourself that has the capacity to hold and to look at, without being triggered, this pain that you're feeling, this stuff that's coming up, because it's yours. I'm not triggered by the same things you are. This person that just said something to you that made you feel so crappy and rejected could say the same thing to me, and it wouldn't affect me at all. It's just a signpost for you. It's just somebody there to show you what is in you that it wants to be seen and wants to be healed. Because once you're on the other side of that, telling you guys, it's magic. When you release that, dissolve it and release it, you're going to be wildly amazed and delighted how it feels to have that not in your body anymore. And you could actually have that same conversation a week later and just be smiling, and it would not trigger you anymore. So even though it's scary and it feels crappy in the moment, sitting still and allowing these things to be in your body and show you what they want to show you is really, really important and critical. If you want to evolve and you want to be happier and you want to access your true joy, this is the way to do it. So when you're sitting meditating, or when something comes up like this, give yourself the gift of sitting still. Go somewhere that you can be quiet and sit still and just feel it, feel it, feel it in your body. Feel it. What does it feel like? It's not the thought, it's the feeling, okay? Because our bodies hold trauma and they hold emotions, and this is something that's triggering you, has been in you for a long time, and anybody could have come along and triggered it, right? If you didn't know this person or whatever the situation is you got out of it, something else will come along and trigger that in you until it is healed. So you're sitting there and you're feeling, oh, I feel my stomach is in butterflies, or I feel this knot in my chest, or my shoulders and my neck are hurting, or I feel, constriction in my throat, I feel burning in my face, in my chest, all these different things that people tell me that is how it feels when something like that comes up. It's visceral. It feels really real, and it feels really awful, as we've said. So sit there, sit with it, and see what it wants to show you. Just know that you are stronger than whatever's coming up, and it will subside. It feels overwhelming. Our body's fight or flight responses, which is part of what this is, cause the release of hormones like adrenaline, like cortisol, that feel gross. They're supposed to motivate us to run from a tiger, right? But this is not that's not what modern society is all about. So we have these awful feeling hormones coursing through our body, and we need to sit and allow them to subside so that the healthy hormones can then take over, and we can have some sanity, and we can have some presence to look at what's really happening here, and just feel that emotion in your body, feel that sensation in your body. And you may notice that it disappears a little bit or moves around, dissolves a little bit, just with the light of your presence and your heart and just sitting there. But also, a couple of things that I've noticed that really work for me is to reach for what feels lighter, and just keep in your mind, like, let go of that a little bit. Just release it a little bit. Just release its grasp on you just a little bit. Feel it and let it go a little bit. So both out of darkness and out of heaviness is where light works for me. So I want to feel lighter. I reach for a thought that feels lighter and not so heavy. Let a little of that heaviness go. Put it down and reach for what feels lighter. And then let a little of that darkness go. Just let a little bit of it go and reach for what feels lighter. And another thing that was wonderful that I got from David Hawkins, who has an amazing book called Letting Go, The Pathway to Surrender. Surrender is all of this, right? It's what it's all about. And if you're feeling it all over your body, try just releasing a little part of it. Either esoterically, like about the concept itself, like let's say it's a person, can I release what they said? Or can I release like one little portion of it instead of the whole overwhelming thing? So can I forgive them a little bit for how they're behaving? Can I give myself a little more leeway for how I'm behaving? Or if you're looking at the actual body feelings of it, can I let go of just my left arm feeling this way? Can I let go of just part of my throat or a little bit of my spine? Or is there anywhere in my body that I can just let go of that feeling and just feel neutral and then feel better? And focus on that and consistently just think, how can I feel lighter? How can I dissolve this a little bit? How can I let go of this a little bit? And reach for what feels better, physically or metaphorically, or both. And you will find that it calms down. It calms down. And you will feel better and better and better. And then you will want to do this over and over.